"Wait, this wallet isn't mine, sir." The poor girl ran after him through the rain, clutching the expensive leather wallet she found on the sidewalk. The man turned slowly, his eyes sharp and cold. "Do you know what that wallet's worth?" She hesitated. "No, sir. But I thought what's inside might mean something to you." Stared at her for a long moment, then smiled. That simple act of honesty was about to change her entire life forever. The afternoon sun baked. The cracked pavement of the city's streets. Lena Brooks, a young woman in her early 20s, hurried from one cafe to another, handing out job applications printed on thin, fading paper. Her shoes were worn, her stomach empty, and her hope nearly gone. Rent was overdue. Her mother was sick at home, and every rejection hit like a stone to the chest. As she walked past a fancy restaurant, she caught sight of something on the ground. A sleek black wallet, heavy and expensive-looking, the kind you only see in movies. She glanced around. People passed by in designer suits, ignoring it. She picked it up. Inside was a platinum credit card, thick stacks of cash, and a business card embossed in gold. Alexander Reed, CEO, Reed Global Holdings. Her breath caught. She'd seen that name before, on billboards, on news headlines. For a split second, temptation flickered. Her mother's medicine, her unpaid rent, all could be fixed in a day. But then she sighed and whispered, "What's not mine can't save me." She found the nearest security guard outside the restaurant. "Do you know if Mr. Reed is still here?" The guard looked skeptical. "You mean the Alexander Reed?" "Yeah, he was in there for lunch an hour ago, but good luck catching him." Her pulse raced. She thanked him and started running toward the parking area. Rain began to fall, slowly at first, then pouring like a storm unleashed. By the time she reached the street, her clothes were soaked, but she didn't stop. Just ahead, a black car with tinted windows was pulling away from the curb. She shouted, "Wait! Please, you dropped your wallet." The driver hesitated, but the man in the back seat, tall, gray-suited, dignified, told him to stop. Lena ran up to the car window, panting. Alexander Reed looked out, brows furrowed. "What is it?" he asked. She held out the wallet with trembling hands. "You dropped this, sir. I didn't want someone else to find it." He opened the door, stepping out under an umbrella. Rain slid down his polished shoes, but his gaze stayed fixed on her. "You ran through a storm. Just to return this?" "Yes, sir," she said softly. "I didn't want to keep what wasn't mine." He studied her for a long moment. Then, quietly, "Do you know what's inside this wallet?" She shook her head. "Only your name, sir. There's $50,000 in cash," he said, watching her reaction. Her eyes widened, but she didn't say a word. Most people would have taken it. "I'm not most people," she said simply, a slow smile spread across his face. "Clearly not." Alexander reached into the wallet, pulled out a thick envelope, and handed it to her. "Take this," he said. "For your honesty." Her eyes widened again. "Sir, I can't accept that. Consider it a reward," he replied. "You earned it," but she shook her head, stepping back. "If I take it, it'll feel like I did it for money." "I didn't." Something flickered in his eyes. A mix of surprise and respect. "Most people chase wealth," he said, "but you're different." He tucked the envelope back into the wallet and extended his hand. "Tell me your name, Lena," she said. "Lena Brooks." "Lena Brooks," he repeated, like he was memorizing it. "Do you have a job?" She hesitated. "Not anymore, sir. I've been trying." He nodded slowly. "Meet me tomorrow. My office." 10 a.m. Before she could speak, he handed her his card, and with that, he got back into the car and drove off, leaving her in the rain, shivering, stunned, but hopeful for the first time in years. The next morning, Lena stood outside Reed Global Holdings, a skyscraper so tall it disappeared into the clouds. She'd borrowed a clean blouse from her neighbor and tied her hair neatly. When she entered the marble lobby, the receptionist looked up. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see Mr. Reed," Lena said nervously. The receptionist's eyes flicked to the business card, and immediately her tone changed. "Of course. He's expecting you." Moments later, she was led into a large office overlooking the entire city. Alexander Reed stood by the window. He turned as she entered. "You came?" "Yes, sir. I wasn't sure if you were serious." He smiled. "I'm a man of my word." He gestured for her to sit. "I tested you yesterday," he said plainly. "Most people's character shows when no one's watching. Yours did." Lena's heart pounded. "Her? I need someone I can trust, someone honest, grounded, loyal. My company is filled with people who see only dollar signs." He leaned forward. "How would you like to work for me?" Her jaw dropped. "Work for you? As my personal assistant," he said, "and I'll double your starting salary from what you made before." Tears welled in her eyes. "Sir, I don't know what to say." He smiled softly. "Just keep being who you are. That's payment enough." Weeks turned into months. Lena worked hard, every morning early, every task done with care. She became known throughout the company not as the Billionaire's charity case, but as the woman who earned her place. One evening, as she was leaving, Alexander stopped her. "Lena, do you know why I gave you that job?" She smiled shyly. "Because I returned your wallet?" He shook his head. "Because I needed a reminder that honesty still exists." He handed her an envelope. Inside was a deed to a small apartment, fully paid for. She gasped. "Sir, I can't." "You can," he said. "And one day, when you see someone struggling the way you were, you'll do the same." Years later, Lena owned her own small company, a nonprofit helping young women find jobs and housing. On her desk sat a single item, an old, worn leather wallet. She'd kept it, not for its worth, but as a symbol of the moment her life changed. Every time someone asked her how she made it, she would smile and say, "Because one act of honesty can open doors no money ever could." The final scene shows Lena walking through her new office, confident and radiant. The rain that once drenched her is now sunlight pouring through the windows and on her desk. That same wallet. A quiet reminder that goodness never goes unnoticed. She could have kept the money. She could have walked away. But she chose honesty, and that choice became her miracle. Because sometimes, the smallest good deed changes the biggest story. If this story touched your heart, tell us where you're watching from, and if you believe honesty always finds its way home, share this story. Subscribe for more cinematic tales that remind us. Good hearts don't go unrewarded.